I'll just let the wind blow them by.
From Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, for the last generation, you have a choice.
The Republican candidate for
not
governor.
have sexual relations
And
with
I
that woman.
realize that this is something he is
We're not going to
inherent.
be able to solve our problems if we get distracted by sideshows and carnival barkers.
One Republican, one Democrat, and you discuss the issues that matter in today's local, state, national, and global politics. Hosted by Steve Hickson with co-hosts John Stanberry and Franklin Chansey. This is Backfire.
Hey, welcome back, guys. January the 8th. We've had a long vacation here on Backfire.
We have.
2 weeks.
John and Franklin, welcome back. Anyway, we're all rested up and ready to go. I guess we can talk about all the things that have happened in the last few weeks, whatever we need to talk about. But, I guess I started to think about doing a recap of everything this year, but I just didn't think that was necessary for us.
No,
Start
especially
fresh, huh?
for Franklin, the Obama debacle. It's been a terrible year, and I'm sure Franklin doesn't want to revisit all of the failures that have happened.
Well, I didn't think we ought to just keep covering the same old
Failures.
ground. So let's talk about the new.
I'm going to let him have that one free.
Let's start out with the latest thing that
The latest failure.
the unemployment benefits.
Oh yeah.
Why would he keep pushing on that? You think? How long do we need to provide
Good
unemployment
politics.
benefits?
Well,
I mean, is 2 years enough?
no, it's not. In this particular case, it's not.
But it's a great economy. His economic advisors
It's certainly an
his
improvement.
economic advisors are bragging
It's
about
certainly
his
an improving
economy.
economy without question.
Then why should we need it? It was a temporary fix. It was a temporary fix
Because
4.5 years
the
ago.
Because the unemployment rate hasn't reached a level yet where
You mean it hadn't
it's
reached the level
sustainable.
he promised it would be at the end of his first 4-year term?
Which has absolutely nothing to do with the question that Steve just asked us.
Well,
and it's interesting. It's interesting to see that it appears that the Republicans are lining up to support it.
Of course
My
they are, because
question-
it's a political ploy, Franklin.
It
Let
is.
me ask you a
It makes the
question.
GOP
The
look
Republicans actually offered a 1-year fix for this, and the White House turned it down for this 3-month fix. Now, why would they want to vote on this again in 3 months?
They didn't turn it down
Yes,
for a
they
3
did.
months fix. What the deal is that the White House and the Democrats have agreed to find some additional savings in the budget if they'll go ahead and turn the
With no
faucet
savings.
back on for the 3 months, so people are not getting kicked out of their houses and stuff in
What's
the middle
going
of
to happen
winter.
in 3 months? Is his economy going to have improved and all those people will find a job in 3 months?
In that 3-month period, they're expected to find some additional savings working together in a bipartisan fashion, and that will allow them to extend it a
In the
little
grand
further.
scheme of the budget, Franklin, this is a drop in the bucket. Why can't you find the savings for the 3 months right now, which is all Boehner has asked for?
Because we've just got through going through this process of squeezing all these departments, and now we have to go back and try and do it again.
Squeezing, Franklin. The budget has more than doubled since he took office, and all this. The
That is
deficit's come
simply
down.
not true,
The
John.
deficit has
John,
come
that's not even
down.
close to true.
Franklin, he's been over
The
$1 billion,
budget has
over
not,
$1 trillion.
The budget has not doubled in that period of time. It's not even 20% higher.
I can't even believe we've got a budget. He did finally sign one, though, didn't he?
Well, actually,
did,
he's a
after they
month
finally let
late.
it come
He's
up
a
for a
month
vote.
late on preparing his next upcoming budget. This will be his 5th late, but statutorily he's required to turn that budget in by February 15th. He has not missed the date ever in his entire presidency. Another failure for this president.
He did it last year.
Actually, he did not. He was a month late.
After all this carping last year, and guess what? The Republicans wouldn't even let it come up.
None
for a
of
vote.
his budgets.
Wouldn't
Actually,
let-
his budgets have
so
come up for
this
votes.
is- this is-
Franklin,
this is
listen.
the-
Wait a minute.
This is the kind
he,
of
he
silly
controls the
juvenile
Senate.
nonsense.
Franklin,
that
does
the
he control?
Republican
Do you all
Party
control?
Gets bogged down
do
in.
the Democrats
They don't
control
want
the
to fix
Senate?
any problems.
Answer a question. Does the Democrats control the
Yes.
Senate? His budgets have never received a single vote in the House or the Senate.
Because
not
the
one
House
Democrat.
will not allow it to
The
even
Senate
come out
brought
of
it
the
up.
committee.
The Senate brought brought it up, and not a single Democrat voted for any of his budgets.
The House refused to
Actually,
go to
the House
conference
has
committee,
brought it
didn't
up
it?
before,
Didn't
and
they
he got
refuse
no
to go to the
votes.
conference committee?
One time, but his
Okay.
previous budgets have
So here's
never
the
received
point, John.
a single
you
vote.
want to complain about these things, but you don't really mean it. All you want to do is take these silly pot shots. If you were serious about the issue, it would go to the conference committee, and the parties would have to work together to come up with a solution.
Franklin, the Republican House offered a one-year extension to the unemployment benefits, and the White House turned it down. Plain and simple, turned it down.
Based upon the offer.
I don't care what it was based upon. He said it was an emergency and these people need their support. The Republicans said, fine, we'll give them support for a year.
Only if you can squeeze it out of some other
Only
poor
if you
people.
pay for it. Yeah,
That's right.
Folks
That's
out
the
there
answer.
doing your family budget,
That's
you
right.
think that's unreasonable to say, hey, we want to spend some more money.
Yeah,
Let's make
yes,
sure we've
it
got
is-
the money to
it
spend.
It is unreasonable when you give fat cats on Wall Street and corporate America
Your guy is in
$300
control of the
billion
Senate.
in unfair tax breaks.
All right.
Franklin, your
Let's
guys
go
are
back.
in control of the Senate. The Senate is what is determining what comes out of Congress and what doesn't.
No,
and
the
your
House is
president,
determining.
is the one who has benefited the top 1%.
Let's go back to my original question. Right now, they're talking about extending these benefits, unemployment benefits. Again, I mean, they keep extending them. My question is 2 years enough? Can we cap it at 2 years, unemployment benefits?
Not under this president's
No, I
economy.
mean, is that something we should try to look for, is try to put a deadline on it?
What would be enough, Franklin? When do you stop?
Well, most people have suggested that we tie it to a specific level of the unemployment rate.
Franklin, does it have any other effects outside of just, the program that we pass?
Sure it does.
Is this an entitlement?
No.
It's
a
paid
paid
for, right?
benefit.
So if you keep spending it, you keep raising the tax on the businesses, right? And
We
if you
have not
increase
raised the tax on the
they
benefits.
have to, Franklin. It's paid for by the employers.
We
They
have
have
not-
to raise the taxes if you keep spending more and more money. Guess what? When you charge more and more money to the employers, they don't expand. They don't hire new
Well,
people.
except that they clearly have been.
It actually hurts the economy.
they have been.
No, they haven't. Their corporate guys have been making more money, but they haven't been expanding because of this guy's regulatory and tax punishments.
All right, it says here that another full year, one full year extension would cost upwards of $25 billion.
That's approximately right. Yeah.
Right.
Well, all the Republicans said was, let's find the $25 billion to pay for it. That's all we ask.
And
That's
so
right.
they have agreed to go in and try to find those savings if they'll get them started again and get these people
Franklin,
who need this immediate help.
If this president was
folks,
competent,
these-
he
these-
could find
these
25
are people
How
who
mu-
were working.
$25 billion, Franklin,
you
out of
act like they're all freeloaders.
$25 billion out of a $3 trillion budget. This president, this competent president, can't at the drop of a hat find $25 billion out of $3 trillion. He could do it. He doesn't want to do it. Here's what they want, and you know this, Franklin. They want to have this fight over and over again. They want to have it in 3 months again because they want to demonize Republicans. Oh, Republicans don't care about
Republicans
the
can
little
fix
people.
that in
And
5
guess what's
minutes.
going to happen in 3 months? In 3 months, the Obamacare debacle will be even bigger, and this is nothing but a diversion from Obamacare's
debacle.
failure.
The state of Tennessee started relying on Obamacare
Well,
this
guess
week.
what? The state of Maryland is getting ready to close their exchange because it's been such a failure and dump those people back.
Read the article that
to
was in the
federal.
banner this week from the elderly lady. Her comment on it.
You
Frankly,
think-
all
oh,
the
sure,
people
you
that
can
she
pull up
found.
someone that it's going to help. The problem is it's going to cost everybody a fortune. Now, Harvard has a new study out, another broken promise by the president that this would decrease the number of visits to the emergency room. Guess what? 4 million new people will be going to the emergency
Harvard
rooms
study
next year.
also showed, John, that 3,000 Tennesseans are going to be alive next year because of Obamacare that would have been dead.
Franklin, you all said this was going to cut the cost. It's not, the president's
Actually,
own, the president's
thank
own,
you for saying that, John, because for the 4th year in a row, healthcare costs have went up at a
healthcare
lowest
costs have
rate
been-
in over
healthcare
40 years.
Increases have been declining since 2006, and the president's own people are now admitting that the ACA has nothing to do with this. As a matter of fact, the actuarial from the CMS actually said that because of Obamacare, it went up 0.1%. The decreases are not because of Obamacare.
I'm going to tell you something, and before this is all over with, Obamacare is going to be the biggest cost ever. It's going to end up, there's going to be fraud, there's going to be crime, there's going to be so much waste in this Obamacare system in the future that it's just going to be
being managed by a private insurance company. So you're saying they're going to defraud everybody?
Well, let me ask you something. This morning in the New York Times, it came out, and they're already having problem with the billing, going back to the billing side of it. They don't have anything for fraud in there to catch anything.
Franklin, Jay Carney at a press conference yesterday said they didn't have the information for how many young people had signed up for Obamacare. It's been going for over 3 months. You're telling me this president's administration competent doesn't have that number?
Before we get off on something else, I want to go back to my original question. How long, I want Franklin to answer this, John. How long is long enough for the unemployment benefits?
I would suggest that you tie it to the unemployment rate.
Why?
Because the purpose for the extension is because there aren't yet enough jobs available in the economy.
But the president's people say the economy is rebounding hugely.
It is rebounding.
He has been an economic success.
It is rebounding.
Well, if it's an economic success, a program which was started 5.5 years ago as a temporary measure wouldn't still be necessary, would it, Frank? Which is it? Is it a success or is it a failure? Is it a success or a failure? Is the economy booming or is it a bust? Because you all want it both ways. You want to claim the economy is great, but then you want to say we've got to have more unemployment.
First of all, stop putting words into my mouth. I never said the economy's booming. He didn't say that either. That's just a lie.
Gene Sperling said it was great just the other day.
What he said was the economy has improved tremendously, and anybody with half a brain who can do simple addition can tell you that that is an accurate statement.
Well, anybody with half a brain could find $25 billion in savings out of a $3 trillion budget.
There's no question, John, that the economic output of the nation has grown dramatically in the last 3 years. It's still not back to the area where it was before your party took us into the ditch.
All right, I want to go back to my original question. I'm trying to get somewhere, but I can't get
6%.
there.
That would be my statement.
All right, now then, why would we not just try to work harder in pushing these people out the system? In other words, making it mandatory for them to go look for jobs, the way it used to be done, where you had to have so many interviews. You had to show that you're making an effort to find a job. You know, set up some work programs. Do something different than just give them money. It's been proven.
It's not been proven at all. This is
has been proven.
This is not welfare.
Actually,
it is welfare.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You've heard me say that.
That's exactly where the conversation goes off.
Let me give you.
I'm sorry. I'm going to finish. This, you're always talking about how the Republicans get
there are some really bad people.
This is the fundamental difference here. You actually believe that the vast majority of people getting these unemployment benefits are cheats and frauds who don't want to work.
That's not what
and that's not true.
There's a big majority.
No, it's not true.
Let me correct
you.
And
that's it, folks. You listen to that out there. That's exactly what the difference is between these parties.
I'll tell you exactly.
They really believe that if you don't have a job right now and you're getting unemployment, it's because you're lazy and don't want to work.
All right, folks, let me tell you what's really going on here. Franklin is doing typical Democrat politics. He is personalizing an issue. The Republicans last fall told the president what people need is a job. They don't need unemployment benefits extended because if they had a job, if they had an economy that was working, we wouldn't have to even have this conversation. So they asked the president for specific job proposals. Guess what we've gotten from him out of the White House in about the last 2.5 months since we asked for that? Zip. Nothing.
What I'm trying to say, Franklin, let's come together with some kind of plan to get these people off this program. This is encouraging them to stay on. If you just keep giving them more and more and more, it encourages them to lay on their fat ass and not do a thing about getting a job.
I simply reject the very premise that you have
Franklin,
given,
let me give
that
you
all
some
those
facts.
people out there don't want to work.
Let me give you. I didn't say they don't want to work.
Well, he did.
Here's the point, Franklin. Any economist,
I'm saying this encourages
even
them
the president's
not to work.
own economists say this: that when you allow someone to make different decisions, you encourage a certain direction. So if someone's got unemployment benefits and a job comes up that's not exactly the job they like, they don't take that job because they don't really want that job, and they don't have to take that job because they've got benefits. His own people admit that it is a disincentive to growing the economy.
Let me give
Franklin,
you an example.
that's his own. Christina Romer, his former chair. Franklin, listen a
when
minute.
the holiday season
Obama's
came along,
do you know who Christina
and
Romer is?
Amazon out here gave
You're
out
not gonna
all those
answer, are you?
jobs.
You're not
gave
gonna
out
answer.
all those jobs. They were swamped with people applying for them. They didn't have any trouble filling them. This is not people who don't want to work. These are people who were working, who want to work, who want jobs. And the idea that they're all freeloaders is exactly what's wrong
Nobody
with the
said
system.
they were freeloaders.
He said the majority
Well,
of them
the
are lazy.
Republicans didn't say that. What we say is that by continuing this support, you allow them not to take a job that maybe it's not the perfect job, but it's a job. Franklin, you've heard
The
me.
job at Amazon
Franklin.
wasn't perfect. They were swamped with
Franklin,
people.
Denmark had unemployment benefits for 5 years. The average time to find a job in Denmark was 5.2 years. The Danish parliament cut the unemployment benefit to 4 years. Within months, the average time to find a job went to 4.2 years. Then they cut it again to 2 years. Within months, the average time to find a job went to 2.2 years. The longer you support and the longer you have an incompetent economic policy out of
John,
the White House, the more benefits you'll have to have.
These benefits have only been extended because of the depth of the recession.
The one he said he'd fix in the first 4 years.
And he's gone a
made
long
it
way
worse.
toward. Oh, give me a
Franklin,
break. John, what was the unemployment rate when he took?
What did he promise
within
it would
6
be?
months
What
of
did
him
he say his policies would bring it down to in the first 4 years? He said he'd cut the deficit in half. He doubled it. He said that he would
He did not
unemployment
double
would
the
never
deficit,
go.
John.
He said it would never go above what, Franklin? What did
John,
he say it wouldn't go above?
John,
what did he say
Where
it wouldn't
is-
go?
Oh, actually, John, the deficit right now is nearly
Franklin,
50%
what
lower
did the
than when he took
president-
office,
what
isn't
did
it?
Franklin
Isn't that
say?
true?
No, Franklin.
Yes,
it's
it
not.
is.
No, it's not. He has cut it in half, but he raised it to all-time highs.
No, John.
Franklin,
You make this stuff up.
He's had 4.
What was the deficit the day he took office? It was $1 trillion. Where is it now?
And he's had 3. What is it?
$560 billion.
Franklin, the $1 trillion he got was the big bailout that all you progressives wanted. The year before, it was nowhere near $1 trillion. You all wanted this big bailout. The bailout was going to fix everything. It fixed nothing.
No, John, it was
fixed
not.
Nothing.
All right. You don't think we ought to have some type of work programs or anything for these people
I'm
to
fine. Propose one.
We asked the
Propose
president.
no.
He's the president. We
about-
asked for a proposal.
You got all these criticisms, John. You come in here and you say, oh, he's the biggest spending president in history, even if the facts don't show that, but you say it, and then you come in here in the same breath say, oh, he needs a jobs program.
We
well,
asked for a
really?
jo-
Are you going to spend some money
Franklin,
on that?
we asked
Anything.
for a jobs program.
I'm just
It's
trying.
total
None
hypocrisy.
of his budgets have ever received a single vote in
Nothing
Congress.
you say,
No
you're
Democrat
not
has
willing
ever.
to change
No
5 minutes
Democrat
later.
has ever even voted for one of his budgets.
5
He is a
minutes
total.
later, you
Franklin,
say exactly the
here's the
opposite.
problem.
Franklin.
He's a total incompetent, and you can't defend him. That's the problem here.
Franklin, if you were out of a job today, I'm telling you, if let's just say this is not going to happen, but you lost your law license for some reason, how long would it take you to find some work?
I don't know. Fortunately, I've not had to deal with that circumstance.
Well, I guarantee you, it would take you until you got hungry to find some work.
So your position would be that all those people who were laid off could have just instantly gone out and found other work.
No, I'm saying a year's long enough.
And I say the economy has not improved enough yet.
But your guy says the economy's improved great, and that
It has
it's just
improved.
rolled.
It hasn't
He
improved
says
enough
it's a
to
great
stop this
economy.
program yet.
He says it's a great economy. Is it or not? Is
That's
it a great
not
economy
his
or
word.
not?
That's yours, John.
That's his economic advisors.
It's
They
been
say that
almost 2 years now that we've been paying this, right?
No, it's been 4 years.
They've not been getting unemployment
Originally,
benefits
this
for
was an
4 years.
emergency.
See,
Originally, this was
these have been
supposed to be 6 months.
extensions.
6 months is what it was supposed to be, Franklin.
And that's what the law
That was 4 years
typically is.
ago. 6 months, 4 years ago. And we're still doing it. And yet your guys are still going, oh, he's a great economy. He's built the economy back. He saved America. Well, if he saved
did,
America,
actually.
if he saved America, guess what? Nobody would be needing unemployment benefits because they'd all have jobs.
Except
Except that he's not done a good job.
No, He
Well, then
took
why
it
don't they
out
have
of the
jobs? Why don't
incredible
they have
Grand
jobs?
Canyon that was left for him.
Franklin, why don't they have jobs? This guy said that unemployment would be what, below 5%?
Well, actually, it's a really good question that you asked, John, and I'm happy to address that because you explained to me how corporate profits hit all-time highs 2 years in a row, and the trickle-down economy you've talked about
because
for 30
your president
years
is actually
didn't
a crony
explode
capitalist.
into jobs.
Because your president is actually a crony capitalist. He is in bed with Wall Street, and you're right.
It's not Wall Street. We're talking about corporations
Franklin,
now.
The Wall Street fat cats under your president have made a fortune. He's going to campaign on income inequality.
We're talking about
He has grown income inequality more than any president in the past.
Your party has told us for almost 40 years now, John, that all we had to do was unleash business and let them get all these profits, and it would all trickle down to the middle class,
Franklin,
and the economy would raise.
I hate to break this
well,
to
you. Had
your
enormous
party
growth,
has been in control
enormous profits.
Your party,
why aren't they hiring
Franklin,
people?
Your party has been in control for the bulk of those 40 years.
Why haven't they been hiring people if they're making all this money?
Because your president
has trickle-down work or not?
We haven't done it, Franklin. And
for
your information,
let me ask you something. Does not knowing what's coming tomorrow work? That's what we got now.
That's what we've got.
We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring us under this president. A business cannot make plans because of this president. If they make money, they might get their throats cut under this president. Money is something you can't make.
I've been hearing this for really.
Yes.
The people you know haven't been making money.
The fat cats
Are you kidding me?
Franklin, the fat cats who donated all the money to his campaign from Wall Street certainly have, but the regular middle-class small business owners can't get a break under this guy. He is horrible for us. Terrible.
Now then.
And we're the bulk of the employee. Here's the real problem, Franklin. The small business owners that are hit. See, here, when he passes new regulations, when he passes new taxes, we don't have a lawyer on staff. We don't have a legal department, an accounting department to help figure out how we find a loophole in it. We end up just having to pay it. And we're 80% of all the job creation in this country. This guy is killing small business.
What's your definition of a small business?
I think anything probably less than $1 million a year is a small business, or probably $4 or $5 million. I don't know, Franklin. But it's certainly not a $150 million cosmetics corporation. That's who he's benefited. He's benefited the big fat cats on Wall Street, but he has devastated the small business owners, and they're the people that employ the bulk of the citizens.
All right. Time out. Let's get into some local stuff here. Bradley County School Board votes to hire attorney to go after liquor tax revenue. It says the city owes. Here we go again with another city-county lawsuit.
Well, from looking at the statute that I've seen, I can't begin to fathom how the city would owe this money. Maybe I'm wrong. I wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong. But the statute the way I read it, does not seem to require the city to pay those funds.
Well, I read something where Janice did her research and said that she verified that everything that she'd been doing has been done properly. Now, the county is saying, no. They've got Jimmy Logan as an attorney, and they're going to try to settle this thing.
The statute that's involved, the way I read it anyway, applies to municipalities that don't operate their own school systems. Cleveland does. So I just don't. I really don't understand what the theory is why the city would owe this money.
It seems like we can't get past these disputes between the city and the county over every little issue that could possibly come up.
There's a deeper problem here. The problem is government never looks for a solution. They just look for money. It's just all about money and power and control. And if you've got some money and we don't have some money, by God, we want our share of it. And the problem is the taxpayer is the one at the bottom of all of this that foots the bill for all of this. Now, in this particular case, looks like maybe the city's right. But in other cases, the county's been right, because the city and the county elected officials lose sight of the fact that they work for us.
Dr. Lindsay Hathcock's been hired by as executive assistant to the Bradley County Mayor Davis.
Is that the same position that Dan Howell previously had?
That's correct.
I guess.
Anyway, Dan
So does that mean Dan's not coming back? Which I thought it was just leave of absence.
I thought it was a leave of absence. I was the same way.
I don't know the answer to that one.
Okay. Anyway, I remember when Dan did it, it was a leave of absence, but it says now that he stepped down to run. It says he replaces Dan Howe, who stepped down to run for the House seat being vacated by Eric Watson. So anyway, I guess we'll see what goes on there. Obama, while he was in Hawaii, was an interesting deal. He had his staff sign him up for the healthcare exchange. What do you think about that?
Well, at least he kept his promise, unlike Harry Reid, who has waived his magic staff and exempted a bunch of his employees from it, even though just 2 months ago he promised all of his employees would sign up for it. Now, that would be Harry Reid, the Democratic majority leader of the Senate.
What about the, when Mr. Obama went to Hawaii on his vacation?
Well, I thought his oh, wait a minute. That's just his wife that decided to stay behind on the taxpayer dime for a few more days.
Yeah, $800,000.
But it's a great economy probably in Hawaii. It's a great time. If you've got plenty of money, it's a great time to go to Hawaii probably. So let me think. Wait a minute. That's our money, that he's vacationing on.
Wait a minute now. He went to Hawaii.
But he's a man of the people.
That's his home state, supposedly.
Yeah, he's a man of the people, though.
What I was getting to, I think I read where there had been like $175 million or $250 million or some crazy number spent in Hawaii on the healthcare exchange there for them. And by the time he went on his vacation, they had 500 people signed up on it. It was a total chaos.
I believe disaster would be more the word.
I can't imagine going on a vacation to a state that had that kind of problem if I was a president.
Well, other presidents, when they've gone on vacation to their homes, they actually have homes, and so if the Secret Service spends a bunch of money the first year securing it, that money is spent, and then they don't have to spend it again. But when you keep going to Martha's Vineyard one time and you go to Oprah's house in Hawaii one time, it costs a fortune every time you go to a different venue. The reason Bush went to his ranch and Reagan went to his ranch and Nixon went to his home in California was because they could spend some money, certify that it was safe, and then we didn't spend a fortune every time they went someplace. But hey, this guy, he's never earned his own money, so he's comfortable spending ours.
All of those presidents also went on other vacations. They all got,
not like this guy.
Hold on, let me finish. Franklin? They all got skewered by the other party, and in every case, the people doing it were wrong.
What were the economies during those times?
Well, some of them we were in bad recessions.
You just said that this is the worst economy in 80 years? Oh, and this guy's going on a multi-million-dollar vacation to Oprah's opulent resort in Hawaii? And his wife just decides, I'm going to kick back with a few of my wealthy millionaire friends, and I'm going to spend my birthday here.
In each of those cases, those criticisms against Republicans and Democrats were silly.
Well, let me ask you about this, Frank. Is it silly to expect the First Lady, after a 2-week vacation, to hop on the plane with the president and come on home?
I don't know.
Or is it, you think it's a worthwhile taxpayer expenditure for her to hang out with Gayle King, multimillionaire friend of Oprah, and a bunch of her other wealthy fat cats down in Hawaii on our backs? Is that a good expense during a terrible economy?
First of all, the lodgings and so forth are being paid for by the Obamas, not by the government.
How much does it cost to keep her there, Franklin? See, that's such a dodge. You know it costs a fortune. It costs a fortune.
It's not a dodge, John, because it's a fact of life that our presidents and their immediate families are security risk. That's just true.
You're right.
If you want to take the position that they can't ever go places,
how many they take 3 and 4 vacations a year, Franklin. They went to, when he went on one of his diplomatic trips this past summer, she decides to run on off to Ireland for a few days, and I think the cost of that was millions of dollars.
First ladies, when they do these things, are also
does it also include the mother-in-law? Do I have to pay for her mother-in-law to go to Africa, and her mother-in-law is over in Hawaii now too?
As I've said, all of these criticisms against Republicans and Democrats are just silly.
But Franklin, the point is this guy sells himself as a man of the people. And he also sells himself as, oh, this is tough times and we've tightened our belt. Does that look like a tight belt?
Actually, what he sold himself at is when he's made these speeches is the fact that he can afford to do these things, and he's trying to help people
Franklin,
who can't.
The only reason he can afford it is because we pay for the bulk of it. It's our money.
All right, let's take a break. We've got 2 or 3 other things to talk about of vital interest. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Backfire with Steve Hickson. We'll be right back after this.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee.